Hi guys, and welcome to this video about self-compassion and exercise. My name's Jonathan Pugh. I'm one of the owners here at Train Mind Body Soul. This is a video that I've been thinking about making for quite a while. Self-compassion is something that I had a lot of resistance to build up. I had a lot of fears about developing it. But it's changed my relationship with exercise, it's changed the way that I train, it's changed the way that I think about coaching and think about training myself. And it's a skill that I feel like many people could use. So who is this video for? This video is for anyone who tends to be hard on themselves. If you tend to be a bit hard on yourself, or you don't give yourself a break, or you're prone to all or nothing thinking, then I hope this video could be useful to you. The idea today, I'm just going to share my experience around self-compassion and exercise. I'm going to also share 3 exercises that you could use if you are interested in developing self-compassion. And I'll also just explain why I think that this is a valuable skill to have and to develop. I'm not here to tell you how to do anything, but more instead just to share my own experience and what's worked for me. So I think first of all, I just want to talk a little bit about what self-compassion means to me. And I think a good way to do that is to share some of my favorite quotes around what self-compassion is, and that hopefully will frame this video and give you an idea if you're also not sure about what self-compassion means or what it is or why it would benefit you. Self-compassion sometimes means doing things I don't want to do while honouring my capacity. So for me, that last bit, that while honouring my capacity, that was the thing that I just couldn't do. I've always been really hard on myself. I've always had very all or nothing thinking. If I planned to do something in a certain way, then I've always had a really hard time of changing my expectations and having these really high expectations of myself. But the way that I train my clients, I hope, is if someone comes in and they haven't slept, or they're not well, or an injury's flared up, or there's something going on, then I adapt the session that I've got planned. I don't push them through 5x5 deadlifts if they've slept 2 hours. We just adapt the session. And sometimes that might mean doing mobility. Sometimes that might mean just bringing the intensity of the session down. But when it came to me, again, that last line, that while honouring my capacity, I didn't honour my capacity. I've never had that ability to stop and really take stock of, what do I have in the tank today? What does my body have to give? And I would actually get frustrated with myself. I'd get frustrated with my lack of capacity to be able to do what I expected I should be able to do. And one of the resistances I had personally to developing more self-compassion was this fear that I was going to lose the ability to push myself in the gym and in life in general. Like I would just sort of lose the ability to work hard. But having that ability to kind of check in, what have I got in the tank today? What would a productive session look like? Now, it might not always be what I've got planned, but it can be something. And another one of these, honouring myself and what works for me might mean facing down the expectations that I and others have for me. Now, if you're anything like me, it was really the I. It wasn't the others. I didn't have like friends and clients and my kids like putting pressure on me to, I had to achieve certain standards in the gym, or I've got to train every day. Like I put so much expectations on myself around everything in my life, but I'm kind of centering this video around exercise. Around exercise, like I had to do what I thought I needed to do, what I expected that I should be able to do, because that meant that I was good enough, or that meant that I was, worldly of training people, or I had to be at this sort of a standard that I'd set in my head that it didn't even match reality. So certainly the expectations that I have for myself, they're things now that I manage. And I always say that a good coach knows when to push, but also when to pull back. And I even think in my professional career, I think the first 5 years I didn't know. All I knew is I just want to train people as hard as I possibly can, because that's what I do to myself. And over time, thankfully, with a bit of maturity and experience, I started to learn how to be more adaptable, and it was looking at that. This is one thing that my coach really helped me with, was seeing the difference between the way that I look at other people, the way that I offer that love, that adaptability that I'm offering a client or I'm offering a friend. I just didn't have that capacity to give it to myself. I did not think that, I don't even know if it was that I didn't think I was worth it. I didn't think that I needed it, but boy, I needed it. And the last one here is, through self-compassion, we become an inner ally instead of an inner enemy. Now that took a while for me to really get my head around. Inner enemy. I'm not trying to harm myself by being hard on myself. I'm trying to do that because I think that's what I need to do to get better, to succeed, to help people, to be, again, like some kind of physical inspiration. But I was slowly but surely grinding myself down. For me, far more out of my comfort zone was to acknowledge that I just don't speak to myself and don't treat myself with any level of real respect, real love, real consideration. And that's been such a change. And when it comes to the actual, I want to talk a little bit about what change that's actually made in my life and in my training. So because I listen to my body a little bit more now, and I don't just push myself through what I think I should be doing, I get injured less. That's a big one. I get injured less. I get sick less, which is an interesting one. I still get sick, but I don't get sick as often, because I probably, when I feel myself on the verge of coming down with something, I'll just kind of pull back a little bit on the throttle, rather than when I was younger, just go, Gilmar, just go. I only had one gear, and I get stronger, which is a massive, for anyone. This video is about self-compassion, but in terms of strength training, if you are getting progressively stronger, whatever you're doing in the gym is working well. This is one of the most important metrics to look at. Are you actually getting stronger over time? So for me, since being more self-compassionate, since listening to my body more, 100% I'm stronger. I'm not sore all the time. So not because I used to smash myself through just torture workouts that didn't really need to be done. There were just a lot of junk volume, excessive fatigue that didn't really need to be there. It wasn't really adding anything to the session, but I just, again, in my head, if I was working hard, that was working hard equals good, still some left in the tank equals bad. Now it's a bit more, what I did for today was an improvement on last time, and it was what I had. It was the while honouring my capacity. I honoured my capacity today. I gave the best I could, and I found, in contrast to my fears, where I thought that by thinking like this, I would, have no motivation to train. I would get weaker. I wouldn't want to be in the gym. I wouldn't be able to push myself. I do push myself. I just push myself in a different way. All in all, I think self-compassion is amazing, and I think that, in my experience, what I will say is that the more resistance you have to the idea of it, you probably need it more than you know. Because if you're very open to the idea of self-love and self-compassion, if that doesn't kind of get up any resistance in you or any fears, then you maybe have some of it already. I don't know. But like I said, 6 years it took me just to be even open to the idea and to think about developing it. And I was parched. Like, let's just put it like that. Like, I desperately needed to be easier on myself. I needed to lower my expectations. And it's had the opposite effect. I've got more in the tank for all the areas of my life. Yes, training, and that's great. And I think that divide between the way I try and treat all of my clients with dignity, love, respect. When someone comes in to train with me, they are in my care. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I'm there. Yes, I'm there to give them a hard workout, but I'm there to look after them in that environment. I would never push someone into something that they're not ready for. And there are times where I need to kind of push people on, but there's also a lot of times I need to pull them back. And I now feel like I can do that with myself, and I can kind of catch that crazy thoughts of, if I don't do, if I plan to do, I don't know, whatever, like I'm supposed to be in the gym doing deadlifts today and all I'm doing is yoga. That's not a failure. That's just what I had available. So that's self-compassion. That's why I think it's a valuable skill to develop. That's what it's meant to me and how it's changed my life. What I want to do is I want to give you 3 ways to begin. These are the very things I used, the exercises I did to begin to build self-compassion. The first one is conscious autosuggestion by Émile Coué. And this is like a little, kind of like an affirmation. And the affirmation goes, every day in every way I'm getting better and better. And what I did is I started to say that first thing when I woke up in the morning. Sometimes I would do it in front of the mirror so I could make it more authentic. And I would just say that. I would say, every day in every way I'm getting better and better. And the person that came up with it, principle was that the more conviction you speak those words with, the greater the effect. It worked. It definitely helped me at a point where my self-esteem, self-belief was quite low, and it got me to think about myself in more of a growth-minded light. The second is probably going to be the most awkward for me while looking at the lens of a camera, but this one, I would look in the mirror, and I did this every morning for probably about 6 months, and I would say I love you, you are enough, I will never leave you. And this is, I don't, it sounds a bit, it's maybe embarrassing to admit this, I'd give myself a hug. How sad is that? But for the purposes of developing self-compassion, my relationship with my father, I never got that. That didn't happen. There was not a point in my life or childhood where I got that message. What a beautiful gift to be able to offer it to yourself now. That's kind of the way I think about it. So yes, it's a little bit, I don't know, corny, but and awkward. But I will be honest and say that there were a number of times in doing that I had tears in my eyes, because it's not, again, the more I think the more in need we are of these kind of messages, the more impactful they're going to be. And I needed it. The final one, and this is probably the most impactful one, write a list of everything you love about yourself. One of my best friends would ask me, probably about 2 years ago, just occasionally would just ask me, what do you like about yourself, or what do you love about yourself? And I would always, I would awkwardly laugh and change the subject, because I didn't like anything about myself. I couldn't honestly answer that question. I could neither accept criticism or praise. And like I think that the harder you find that exercise, the more you need it. There are, thankfully, now many things I can actually answer that question honestly, without awkwardly laughing, without running away from it. Because I was really just running away from the fact that I couldn't answer it. Couldn't answer it honestly. So that one in particular, I feel like the first one, the conscious auto-suggestion, that opened the door. Giving myself some active kind of physical, I love you, the hugs, that psychosomatically moving into that direction. And then that last one, actually writing down and recognizing, here are some things about me which are not that bad. So that is kind of it. I really hope this has helped someone. I've definitely been on a bit of a journey with this. This is why I wanted to make this kind of a video. It's the first video in a long time that I've made. It's the first video in a long time that I've made like this. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you took something from it. And if you would be so kind as to leave a comment and let me know what you maybe took from it, or if you plan to introduce self-compassion into your life, or you have already and you've noticed a difference. And yeah, like I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.